Hello, Trailblazers. How are y'all doing? It is getting ready to be the year of 2024. Let that drop. The year of 2024. And so, this word or this encouragement is literally for 2024 because I was thinking about, New Year's resolution and everything that we expect to do in the new year. And I wanted to be of some encouragement to someone else as I am working to encourage myself. And what came to my mindset was, we should let God do the rebrand. Trailblazers, let God do the rebrand. Because when God does the rebrand, it doesn't have to make sense. As a matter of fact, the rebrand will be so phenomenal, it won't necessarily make sense to anybody but you and God. And here's the example. My favorite rebrand has got to be Saul. If you are a Christian, or even if you're trying to become a Christian, or even if you're not a Christian, go to the book of Acts in the Holy Bible and look up the story of Saul. So this will be Acts 9. Read Acts 9, read the whole chapter. But it talks about Saul, who was this well-known man, and he was infamous, not famous, he was infamous for persecuting people who were Christians. I mean, he was seeking them out and killing them. He was executing them as often as he could. He was actually on his way to try to execute some more, if I'm not mistaken, when God blinded him and said, "You gonna be a whole different person." God said, "You're gonna be a whole different person, and you're gonna be persecuted for me." So instead of you persecuting others, you're gonna be persecuted because you will be a whole different person. And that, whenever I think about that, it literally blows my mind that God not only rebranded this man, he rebranded him to do the exact opposite of what people had known him for. So you can imagine, and if you read the verse in the chapter that I told you, you'll see it. But you can imagine that when he started to become this different person, people were afraid of him. They didn't know how to take him. They didn't know what to do with this new brand, this new version of him. They were kind of like thrown off. They're like, "Weren't you the same one that was killing Christians like yesterday?" And they even tried to kill him. They were like, "We got to kill you before you kill us." Like, they didn't know what to do with this man. And yet and still, he became known as one of the great disciples who we know as Paul, right? And I think sometimes people will forget that Paul was formerly known as Saul, and he was off the chain with killing people, doing the opposite of what he is later known for. This is my favorite rebranding story because I think it applies to us even today. Sometimes we'll think that we can't change because we're too far gone, or we'll say, I don't know, if I change, it won't make sense. People already know me as being this type of person. Listen, let God do the rebrand. It ain't got to make sense to these people, okay? People don't have to understand what God is doing for you. As long as you are being consistent, and as long as you are truly changing from your heart, and as long as you are actively seeking out the rebranded version of yourself. So in other words, you're not backsliding. Don't backslide now. Saul didn't start back killing Christians again. So you can't do that because there's gonna be confusion, right? But as long as you are actively reaching toward where you need to be, you can become a completely different version of yourself, and no one can tell you that you can't. Nobody can tell you that you can't grow and change and be someone different. People will try to hold your past over you. People will say, "I can't listen to Saul preach about Jesus. That don't make sense. Saul was just killing people." People will say, "I can't listen to sister girl in the church who's talking because 3 years ago, she was sliding down somebody's pole. Okay, God forgave her. Obviously, she's not sliding down the pole anymore. Let her live, let her breathe. Or I can't listen to Brother Man in the church preaching, because Brother Man used to be on the corner pimping every time he got a chance. Is Brother Man still pimping? Or is he in the church? Okay, God forgave him. You move on. Who are you to hold something against him that God's already forgiven him for? Let's move it along. Okay? People will try to do that to you. Let God do your rebrand. And be consistent with the rebrand. Keep up with the rebrand. If you're gonna be different, be different. And people will eventually catch on and understand. Eventually, they will catch on and understand. But going into the year of 2020, I'm laughing because it's just so funny to me how we will do fellow, humans today as if God did not pick the most infamous people to spread his messages. Like, God had a habit of picking people that others did not deem worthy. Like, that was, I think, from the stories that I've read, I think that was some of God's favorite people to pick. Was the people that, other people said, I think God got a kick out of it. I think God is funny for that. Hopefully he is okay with my sense of humor. I think it's kind of funny. But anyway, so I think it's amazing that God can take what we deem to be the worst of us and can rebrand them into something totally and completely different and beautiful. A beautiful rebrand at that. So as you go into the year of 2024 and you are making your resolutions, you are doing your check-ins with yourself, I want to encourage you to let God do your rebrand. Because when God does your rebrand, it ain't gotta make sense. And I said it just like that. It ain't gotta make sense to nobody. And it can still happen just like that. All right. So anyway, Trailblazers, y'all have a great day, a great new year. Happy New Year 2024. Can you believe that? That's crazy. Wow. Anyway, love y'all very much and see you in the new year.